Hey everybody, this is Kain again, and for another installment of Reaver 2. And in the last video I forgot to mention that, I played this game on Steam, and I used Fraps to record, and I had the worst time recording that opening cinema. That was awful.
While I had only just escaped the stronghold, I sensed that in time my journey would return me full circle to this place. Infiltrating the fortress, however, would be no small feat. The balcony that had provided my escape was now well beyond my reach, leaving this massive gateway as the only means of entry. The gates were sealed, but like the time-streaming chamber I had seen earlier, their operation was undoubtedly linked to that odd crystal mounted above the entrance.
Because when I was recording it, and I fucked up. When I was recording it, when I first started, I had to restart the game 3 or 4 times, and I had to restart my computer 3 or 4 times, because in the transition from the start menu to actually the cinema, the entire game would just go black and freeze. And I have no idea why, but that was extremely frustrating. But luckily Fraps just automatically saves whenever it gets shut off, so that's fine. It happened with the ending credits too, so that's also annoying. But yeah, what was I saying in the last video? Oh yeah, I was very sad when they didn't have the bonus material for this. I really wish they'd put that in there. I don't know why they didn't include that, because that would have been great. That's good stuff. I wanted to record that too, but I won't be able to because I don't have any recording equipment to record console games. So I'll just have to see if I can get my friend Blindman SG1 to record it when we're done with our playthrough of the game. I got him into it, so I'm very happy I converted somebody. And so what I'm gonna do is well, you'll see this in a couple of minutes, but there'll be a bridge up here. And there actually had been a female vampire that is outside of the game, like she's kind of in the mountain. And apparently she had been linked to a deleted cutscene. And so I looked it up, and I saw on a website, I forget what it's called, I'll mention it in the video when I make it. But when you do the Reaver, whatever you call it, telekinesis shot or whatever they call it, you apparently, the camera will clip through the walls and things, and you can see her. She's actually right in this area. And with a little effort, I managed to actually get the audio of the deleted cutscene. Oh yeah, and here's where I was actually trying to do that, and I fuck it up. I don't know what I'm doing. I'd never gotten it to do anything, and I was confused as to what I was actually supposed to have done.
These vampires had nothing in common with the deranged jackals I left behind in Kain's derelict empire. They seemed to retain much of their former humanity. In this era, vampires were clearly not the uncontested predators we had been. These creatures were hunted mercilessly and oppressed. And while I still believed that vampirism was a plague and had to be wiped out, there was nothing noble or righteous in this crusade. This was simply ruthless persecution.
Yeah, they're fucked up, I guess. And yeah, I'm still foolishly trying to get this to work. But yeah, I don't get it to work in this video. I get it to work later, off screen, and then I recorded it. But yeah, I mean, this story, the whole series, I just love it. Kain and Braziel and their dynamics. And I want you to watch when we do get to the pillars, their eye movements, their facial expressions, how they move. It's definitely different from what you see in other games. Where, for example, like Jade Empire, they have the most annoying movement where they just move their neck and body in the most unusual, awkward way. I don't even think necks bend that way. And they just repeat this motion over and over and over again while you talk. And not only is it awkward, but it just makes no sense, the movement that they're making. So, if you watch the Legacy of Kain, especially like Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance, they don't have that problem. They have fairly natural body movements. It's not the same repeated motion over and over again. They'll frown and smile and roll their eyes. They'll glare. Things like that. So definitely watch this in this upcoming cutscene, because it is just amazing. I love it.
The pillars of Nosgoth, pristine, whole, and uncorrupted. I had never beheld them in this undefiled state, yet something profound and indelible resonated within me at the sight. And there, waiting at the very heart of the pillars, was the canker that was destined to destroy them.
I know you're there, Raziel.
Mobius led me to you, Kain, though I might have guessed you'd meet me here.
And if Mobius told you I was hidden on the underside of hell, would you throw yourself into oblivion to pursue me? Mobius trawls for the ignorant and unwary, hauling his gasping prey from the streams of their destinies. Stay out of his net, Raziel.
Spare me your elaborate metaphors, Kain. I have pursued you here for one purpose. You will pay for your betrayal, and balance will thus be restored to Nosgoth.
And whose will is satisfied then? The will of Raziel or Mobius?
Would I be better manipulated by you, Kain? Now, turn and face me. The chase is over.
This isn't a chase, Raziel. We are merely passengers on the wheel of destiny, describing a perfect circle to this point. We've been brought here for a reason. I've seen the beginning and the end of our story, however, and the tale is crude and ill-conceived. We must rewrite the ending of it. You and I.
Face me, Kain. Even you shouldn't die a coward's death.
Isn't it customary to grant the condemned a final request?
I recall no such courtesy from you.
Indulge me, Raziel. All I ask is that you listen. This is the sublime moment of our undoing, Raziel. The ineffable fulcrum upon which swings the entirety of our history. This is where all of Nosgoth is betrayed. In this instant, Ariel, the Balance Guardian, is murdered by dark forces bent on overthrowing the pillars. Her spirit is just now tearing free, lost in the ether, trying to find its way here. You have already seen how she comes to haunt these pillars.
Bound here by your refusal to die, you are the reason this land becomes diseased. As long as you remain alive, you condemn Nosgoth to an eternity of decay.
Be still, Raziel. See this. As Ariel dies, I am being born to take her place as Balance Guardian. Such is my destiny.
My God.
At the moment of my first cry, Ariel's beloved, the Guardian Nupraptor, finds her corpse. Racked with grief and tormented by suspicions of treachery, Nupraptor plunges into a madness which overflows and infects all of the Guardians who are symbiotically bound, including me. The repercussions of Ariel's assassination were expertly calculated. The entire circle descends into madness, and I am tainted at the moment of my birth, instantly rendered incapable of fulfilling the role destiny has prepared for me.
Shall I show you the same mercy you showed the rest of the Circle, then? You blithely murdered them to restore their pillars, yet your hand faltered when it came to the final sacrifice. What makes you exempt, Kain? You're merely the last man standing. Why condemn me for simply carrying out what you hadn't the courage to do yourself.
Let's drop the moral posturing, shall we? We both know there's no altruism in this pursuit. Your reckless indignation led you here. I counted on it. There's no shame in it, Raziel. Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest. Hate me, but do it honestly. 30 years hence, I am presented with a dilemma. Let's call it a two-sided coin. If the coin falls one way, I sacrifice myself and thus restore the pillars. But as the last surviving vampire in Nosgoth, this would mean the annihilation of our species. Mobius made sure of that. If the coin lands on the reverse, I refuse the sacrifice and thus doom the pillars to an eternity of collapse. Either way, the game is rigged.
We agree, then, that the pillars are crucial and must be restored.
Yes, Raziel. And that's why we've come full circle to this place.
So after all this, you make my case for me. To end this stalemate, you must die so that new guardians can be born.
The pillars don't belong to them, Raziel. They belong to us.
Your arrogance is boundless, Kain.
There's a third option. A monumental secret, hidden in your very presence here. But it's a secret you have to discover for yourself. Unearth your destiny, Raziel. It's all laid out for you here.
You said it yourself, Kain. There are only two sides to your coin.
Apparently so. But suppose you throw a coin enough times. Suppose one day it lands on its edge.
I didn't know what impulse stayed my hand, why I had so willingly allowed Kain to escape me when I had pursued him for so long. I had no reason to trust Kain after he had valued me so little, and yet I found myself intrigued by his words. I had been too cruelly used to so gullibly play his pawn, but if this world truly had secrets to divulge, I was determined to expose them.
If you watch that beginning part, Kain actually smiled when he was saying, "I know you're there, Raziel." And when Raziel said that Mobius led him to him, Kain kind of rolled his eyes and was like, "Ah," and then crossed his arms like he was saying, "God damn it." And he got all agitated. That kind of stuff is great. I guess there was this little mini tutorial on that the spectral realm will actually deform the environment so it does specific things in certain situations. Like make a staircase, that's very convenient.
From the moment of my arrival, I had the constant and palpable sensation of being watched. Someone, it seemed, was keenly interested in my presence here.
It's a good thing it deforms like that, because otherwise Raziel's journey would have been very short. He'd be like, fuck, I can't climb up this sheer cliffside. And I can't fly because of Kain.
From the look of it, this door had been sealed for centuries. I began to realize it was no mere coincidence that I found myself standing here, beneath this winged figure with blue skin and cloven hands so like my own, and bearing this unique key. And so it was with a sense of gravity and trepidation that I unsealed that ancient door and crossed the threshold.
Yeah, I really don't like this area too much. It's very dark. You just have a few lights to kind of show you where to go. And I will usually get myself caught on little, these little places right here, because I can't see where the edges are. And I can't see where to go. So I'm running around like a dumbass. Until I finally find my bearings. Raziel doesn't actually know where he's going. He just knows he found a door, the unique key, and he's gonna follow that. Sounds like a good, solid plan right there. What could possibly go wrong? I could hear people call my name.
As I entered the chamber, I sensed that it had been sealed for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. And while this room was clearly built when the pillars were erected, I knew that no human hand could have shaped this place, and that perhaps it had never been seen by human eyes. The surrounding murals depicted a winged race, their features so like my own, but beautiful, where mine were grotesque, and angelic, while mine were demonic. I tried to decipher these images. A great war, but with combatants like none I had ever seen. The pillars, raised by this winged race, who thus defeated their adversaries. The winged beings again, writhing in agony, apparently afflicted with the same bloodthirst I had so recently suffered. And throughout the chamber, inscribed everywhere, images of the Reaver itself. Was this what Kain had urged me to discover? I wondered.
Lies, Raziel. Do not be deceived.
Ah, my ancient benefactor. And I dared to hope we had parted ways forever. Your silence was refreshing, while it lasted. No doubt you have a conveniently inexpressible reason for your presence here?
Do not be insolent, Raziel. I am eternally present here and everywhere, now and always. I am the still center of the turning wheel, the hub of this world's destiny.
But perhaps not so omnipotent as you'd have me believe. Your hold on me appears to be tenuous. I no longer seem to need you. Yet I'm guessing you still need me.
This impudence is unworthy of you, Raziel. Do not forget that you have a task to fulfill here. You are indebted to me.
Indebted? You would have me show gratitude for a gift I didn't ask to be bestowed? Do you forget that you forced me to inhabit this vile carcass?
I restored you to yourself, Raziel. It was Kain who destroyed you. The very enemy you've just let slip through your grasp. Do not fail me, my servant.
I serve no one. Not you, not Kain, and not your lackey Mobius.
Mobius is my good servant. I have many.
And if I tell Mobius that he's worshipping a giant squid, do you think his faith will falter?
You have grown willful, Raziel. But beware. To embrace a serpent is to invite poison into your heart. Kain is a sinuous beast. He will seduce and deceive you. You pride yourself on your free will, yet you let that degenerate deter your resolve.
I harbor no illusions about his integrity, nor anyone else's. In fact, I am beset by manipulation on all sides. I merely seek the truth.
These are the fathomless truths, Raziel. The agony of birth and death and rebirth. This is the wheel of fate, the purifying cycle which sustains all life. Vampires are an abomination, a plague which leeches this land of its spiritual strength. They obstruct the flow of life and death. Their souls stagnate in their wretched corpses. But the wheel must turn. Death is inexorable and cannot be denied. Your destiny is irresistible, Raziel. You are my soul reaver, the scourge of the vampires, reaper of their apostate souls. Remain steadfast, end the vampire's parasitic curse, and restore Nosgoth. Kain's blood belongs on your hands.
Kain indeed deserves to die for condemning me to this repugnant form, but if and when I kill him, it will be for me alone to decide.
Kain destroyed you without a flicker of remorse. He tore the soul from your noble corpse, and after you had served him faithfully for 1,000 years, he discarded you in the abyss on a jealous whim. Remember your rage, Raziel. Let it guide your hand.
And a save point. Yay! We like save points. One thing that I was speaking to my friend about is that Raziel actually is aware of his saving capabilities. And you'll notice that the screen has got quite a bit brighter. It's because I want to show off these awesome paintings right here. Because you can't see dick in this place when it's so dark. And I'm looking at the symbols and things that are actually around this platform. And those are the vampires and some kind of adversary that they were fighting. The vampires used to have blue skin and feathered wings, kind of like angels. This is them erecting the pillars, and their adversaries are not happy. And the vampires are very upset. They're kind of bloody looking, like there's blood on their hands. Looks like one of them killed a wolf, I guess. Kind of looks like a wolf to me. And they are just not having a good time. And then this kind of looks like a champion. He's got the soul reavers hanging up like, oh! And everyone's... Oh, I can't really see what they're doing over there in the background. But, okay. So I fixed it. Back to the darkness. Back to more swimming. And I love how this game is not subtle at all when it's telling you where you need to go next. Like, after the pillars, it...
Tread carefully, Raziel.
Yeah. Like, after the pillars, it gave you... focused very closely on that spectral realm symbol. I don't know if it has a special name to it, but it's, a spectral realm symbol. It's like, hey, do this! And while the Elder God was talking, I focused on those lights. I was like, hey, you need to go here! I kind of wish you would do that for this area, because I hate this area a lot. And I'm kind of surprised I didn't fall there, because I believe there is actually a gap. And I get lost here very easily. I'm kind of surprised I made it this far, but I've played this game enough times lately that I kind of know where to go now, I think. So... I'm still not sure if Raziel actually knows where he's going, or if he's just kind of wandering the fuck around. Be like, hey, stuff happens when I go to places, so let's do that some more. Unless he's just straight out looking for Kain, I forget. Some vague lights. Lets us know we're in the area-ish of where we need to be. And actually, I will be removing a lot of the backtracking, because there is quite a bit of it. You do it at least 3 times, if not more than that. And I just skip all that, because you've already seen it once. You don't need to see it again. And I see pitch blackness. I don't know where I'm going.
I surfaced into a very different landscape. The daylight barely penetrated the dense canopy of this forest. Here I discovered an ancient ruin, unmistakably one of Mobius's time-streaming chambers, but long ago sealed and abandoned to the encroaching swamp. I didn't currently possess the means to break this seal, but I thought in time that I might.
Always the optimist. It's good. These funky green lights you see dotted around are called the Ignis Fatuus, and they were introduced in actually Blood Omen 1 when Kain was talking to the, what that guy call himself, like the Prophet or some crap like that, and Kain was looking for Vorador, and the Prophet guy said that the Ignis Fatuus lights the way to hell, which was Kain's path. And yeah, that's pretty much where he's at.
So, my lurking observer was exposed. The creature vanished when he realized he was discovered, but I caught a glimpse of him, and his features were distinctive enough. This was the vampire Vorador, the monstrous assassin depicted in the stronghold. Strange that a creature brazen enough to assault the Circle single-handedly would avoid confronting me. Very well. If Vorador would not come to me, I would go to him. But first I needed to find some means of reaching that terrace.
I love how Raziel was just cocking an eyebrow that entire time. I love it when he does that. I go into the Spectral Realm because fuck the swamp. I'm pretty sure they call this place a forest, but look at it. It's a swamp. So I don't know if they finally accepted that fact later on. But yeah, it's all swampy and gross and pain in the ass to walk through, so I said fuck it. I don't know why I'd be on these stones when the swamp doesn't affect me now anyway. Probably just so I don't have to deal with those things. Let's go for them anyway. Oh, nom nom nom. And with that, this video is just about over. I think I'm going to head to the temple and then that'll be the end of this video. I was looking around. I think I forgot where the temple was for some reason. Yeah, I don't think I remembered where the temple was. I was trying to figure it out. Oh god. Get away from me! Get away! Oh, hello, frog. You want to be in my cutscene?
There appeared to be a passage here, leading northward into the mountains. The opening, however, was obstructed and too high for me to reach. Perhaps later I would find the means to bypass these obstacles.
You're such a pussy, Raziel. Isn't that just like a tree trunk? You can't just dig those claws into the tree trunk. You dig them into solid stone. No plot-related obstacles. This should be the temple over here. Do not fuck with any birds over here. I warn you now. If you do, you will not be able to leave the temple.
My lurking friend was nowhere to be seen, but I found these ruins even more intriguing. I recognized these arcane symbols from the chamber beneath the pillars, and realized that this shrine too was sealed to all but the bearer of the Reaver.